It is officially fall, and I've had this guy on top of my refrigerator for nearly a month, but you know squash lasts forever. Nice big butternut squash. I decided we're going to make an upgraded version of my Lupin Flour fettuccine pasta. And with the butternut squash, we are going to make a butternut squash pasta sauce. As you can see, my herb garden is really overgrown, but you know, it's the end of the season, so I'm going to pluck both of these sage leaves. They're going in the sauce. It looks like I only needed this much because really I only need about 10 leaves. So I'm going to spare that one, probably dry that one out later. Okay, we got the sage. I cleaned up the squash and rubbed it with some oil, and I'm just going to flip them over. Oven is preheated at 425, and it's going to go in for about 40 to 45 minutes. Okay, let's get started with the sauce. All right. In my pot here, I have a tablespoon of my extra virgin olive oil and 2 tablespoons of butter. And I just put that on low. I'm just melting the butter a bit. And then I have somewhere between 2/3 and 3/4 cup of onion. However much onion you like, I just roughly chopped it. And but I want it minced along with my sage. So I'm just going to mince them together in my little ninja chopper. Let's see. Really, it's like 10 leaves. Let's see, 1, 2. Yeah, this is about right. I'm just gonna grab all my sage leaves and throw them on in there. Sage and butternut squash are a marriage. They really are. They go so good together. Okay, so that looks good. Into the chopper they go. Oop. Safety cap. All right. All right, here we go. This takes no time at all. All right. Yeah, I think it's already good. I just love that thing, see? I'm gonna pour my onions and sage into the pot. Okay, now I'm going to turn up the heat and saute this to translucent, till the onions are translucent, about 5 minutes. While that's sauteing, I'm going to go ahead and grab my NutriBullet, you know, or you can use a blender, and we're going to get started on the noodles. Now, I have a video about a year ago when I made these Lupin Flour noodles this way. Now, Bertha, you know who you are, suggested that I add another ingredient or two to the recipe. So she suggested adding some vital wheat gluten, and she didn't give measurements, but and some whey protein powder. But I don't have any whey powder, so I'm not going with that. But I am going to add the vital wheat gluten. She said that it helps with the texture. So I'm looking forward to seeing if this turns out better. If you're using a NutriBullet, then you want to use, you know, the mixer blade, not the chopper. The chopper is the one that's, you know, only 2-pronged. My onions and sage are sizzling away. All right, So this comes together really easy. I have the oven preheating to 350. The first thing you want is 2 ounces of cream cheese. I have here the Great Value whipped, so this didn't have to sit out. So 2 ounces or 4 tablespoons. Same thing. 4 tablespoons or 2 ounces of cream cheese are in. I do like the creamy. Next, I'm going to put in 3 eggs. These have been sitting at room temperature for several hours. 3 eggs are in. Now my onions look like they're good to go. So what I'm going to put in there next, 1/4 cup of white wine vinegar. I'm using the Parmesan white wine vinegar. If you don't have white wine vinegar, you could use balsamic vinegar. You could use red wine vinegar, or even vermouth. Whatever you have. Alright, so I'm going to cook this down till the vinegar kind of evaporates a bit. Next, I have my Lupin Flour here. I have the Miracle Flour. You can use any brand that you want. You only need 1 tablespoon or 3 teaspoons. Same thing. I had mine a little heaping just only because I had that cream cheese on there, so I knew that a lot of it was going to stick. But, you know, 1 level tablespoon of Lupin Flour. Then I'm going to grab that Vital Wheat gluten. I'm going to go with 1 teaspoon of Vital Wheat gluten. It's the Bob's Red Mill. Kind of heaping. Then all we need is salt and pepper. Just a dash. And that is it. Alright, now I'm just going to put on the cap and shake it up just a bit more. Vinegar has evaporated. So now, this is how much I got. This is a 2-cup measuring cup. So you want 2 cups at least of the butternut squash. So I got a little heaping here, which is fine with me. To that, you want to add 14 to 16 ounces or half a box of chicken broth. This I had open, but I'm going to pour in about half. A little more. How's that? I just love this better than bouillon chicken base. Ever since I got it. This is the first jar I ever had in my life. And I'm going through it. But I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons along with the broth. This is optional. Okay, so we're preheated. That stuff is amazing. Alright, next. Just mix until incorporated. And then now we're going to turn up the heat. Just gonna cook that up a bit and see how much it cooks down. Next we will be adding in heavy whipping cream, but in looking at it, I'm thinking that I might need to add more chicken broth to really make it a sauce. Onto the noodles. Since our oven is preheated, this is so easy. I'm going to grab my pan. I have my cookie sheet. This one, I had cut this silicone liner to fit this pan the first time that I did this, because it has to lay completely flat. It can't be coming up on the edges. This has to be totally flat for your noodles to be flat. Alright. It's perfect. Now, I'm just going to pour this mixture onto my pan. This is Rachel Ray's largest cookie sheet pan, and if I remember right, I think it's like 17 inches. So you can see 17 by 11, I think it is. I know that I measured it in the first video. It doesn't say, but I will have that one. I believe that it's in a playlist with all the noodle videos, but I will link it in this video as well. Okay, so you can see it's just layered nicely. One thin layer. Just one thin layer at the bottom of the pan. Try to keep it as even as possible. So now it's going into the oven for about 12 to 14 minutes. Alright, that's really going. We're going to add the heavy whipping cream. A whole pint or 2 cups right into the pan. That's going to calm it down. Alright, I'm going to cook that down for a few minutes and see if we need more broth. Okay, 2 things. I took a look at my old recipe and I realized that I had it at 325. So I reduced the oven to 325. I definitely need more broth. So let's see how much. Okay. Okay. So I scratched what I said before. You need a whole box. Chicken broth. 32 ounce box. I put it all in. Now I'm going to cook it down. I turned off the oven because I realized I really need to cook this sauce. So I'm not sure for how long. So I'm going to just hold off. So I'm going to clean up my mess and then we'll be back in a flash. I want to just give you a look at my sauce. It's been cooking down for about 15 minutes. I just have it on low. And here, I'll show you. So I have some squash, still kind of lumpy, so I really want to get that incorporated nicely. And I want to cook it down. I'm thinking for about another 30 minutes. So I'm going to take Buffy girl for a walk and we'll be back. The sauce is really looking like sauce now. But I went to take a peek over at the noodles in the oven and see how many minutes I think that I would need to cook them. I should have taken them out of the oven, but I didn't. And so here's my overcooked noodles. Aren't you glad you get to learn from my mistakes? Well, so I made another batch right here. Got my second batch, but I'm not going to cook them until I'm completely happy with the sauce. I just think I need to cook a little more, you know? Sauce has to come together. Okay, so I did take one taste of it. And so here it is. And it's very good. You can really taste that sage. There is one last thing that we need to put in there. Well, I'm putting in something else too. I think it just needs a little more, you know, flavor. I mean, it really is good as it is. It's just kind of missing something. So I'm using my Gourmet Collection Pasta and Herb Blend. And so what's in that is the red bell pepper, basil, parsley, oregano, rosemary, a little sage, garlic, black pepper, celery root, marjoram, thyme, coriander, and chives. So I'm just going to put a little in there, like just a palmful for the whole pot. The last ingredient is 1 cup of this really nice grated Parmesan cheese that I had left over from the macaroni and cheese video. So That's going in. At no point, once you put the heavy whipping cream in there, do you want to boil this. I mean, this has just been simmering all this time. You don't want to boil it. You can boil it while you boil down the chicken broth, but like I said, once you add the heavy whipping cream, do not boil. So I'm going to stir this in. Oh, that looks great. It really looks beautiful. So after all this, I need a break. So I have my rosé wine spritzer. I'm hightailing it to the patio just to take a little break. Cook that down. Let that meld for about 15 minutes. I'm going to turn on the oven to 325 and properly make my noodles. Okay, here we go. I'm preheating the oven. This time I put it on convection oven because I have one. Because I want it to cook really evenly. So I'm grabbing my mixture here. I'm just going to show you how it looks. Just pour it on like so. So this is what it should look like. It's very thin layer all around. All right, we're getting up there to, we're at 240, but check this out. So I've been cooking this from start to finish approximately 2 hours, and now it's looking quite amazing. Oh, yeah. What a beautiful sauce. The noodles are in the oven for 12 to 14 minutes. But I have to tell you, this sauce is restaurant quality. It's insane. It's so delicious. And I have a big pot of it. So I will, freeze some. And the noodles, you absolutely have to make them, like made to order. You don't want to make a bunch and think you can have it tomorrow, because it doesn't work that way. They don't reheat well. So you need to make them and make your dish and eat them then. All I'll have to do as I eat this week is, make my individual batches of the wonderful noodles, which I will show you when they come out. Let's check on them. I don't want to burn them again. Oh my gosh. Look. Okay, so, I guess these shouldn't be baked on convection because they're cracking up. I changed it. We need a few minutes. Oh, actually, they're done. This is very interesting because this never happens. So I'm not sure why this happened, but I will still make the noodles. They'll be fine. All right, so here is my tool, and I will put the link. Let's just start slicing. This side has to be up. There you have it, just like that. You could use a pizza cutter, which would take a lot more time. Here's my little plate of pasta. This is truly a serving for one. So if you're making pasta for two, you would need to, do 2 trays of this. Now it's 9 o'clock, so this has been going for like 2.5 hours at least. Look at it. This is going to be so delicious. I will definitely have to freeze some. Here's my beautiful plate. And it smells incredible in here. Everything in keto is a learning curve. That's just the way it is. When you add that Parmesan cheese, that takes care of the salt issue, so you don't need that. Honestly, I've never tasted anything like this. I've never made it before. I mean, I just made it up. Yeah. On to the next recipe for my future cookbook. I just wanted to do something different with the butternut squash. And this is great. The pasta itself really depends on your oven. I mean, I made it twice, and both not exactly satisfying. The first time I made it a year ago, it worked out, yeah, like it was perfect. It tastes like fall. Which is good because it is fall. Okay, I'm gonna have to perfect this in my new convection oven. I think convection is not the way to go on this. This is very sensitive to the oven, this pasta. I started decorating for fall tonight. It's really cute. So I really like this year. I really changed everything up. Yeah, I got those pumpkins at the farm stand and the gourds. Yeah, and had a great time at the fall festival with my girlfriends. So this weekend I will get to the backyard. But at least the front's done now. Thanks for stopping by for another video, and we will see you very soon.